What if there was a paint that had the power to awaken something old, or painfully dated, or something you simply thought was lost forever, because it could form a strong bond regardless of age? If a paint could give any time-worn surface stunning new life, you have to wonder, is it still paint? Regal Select Exterior from Benjamin Moore, only available at independently owned paint and hardware stores.
Available at Four Seasons Paint and Floor Covering.
Hello everybody, welcome. I'm so glad to have with us today Blake Daniels, a local boy, East Lawrence boy. He is the first week on the job, Blake. City clerk, finance director here at the City of Dublin. Tell me, I know you're excited about being in the City of Dublin.
Yes, sir. I am very excited, and this has been a good first week. I think one of the greatest opportunities that I've had is to use my skill set to come and partner that with the experience of the leadership team here at the city. I've considered a great opportunity to come and demonstrate stewardship, accountability, being transparent, and being, again, a good steward of the resources here at the city.
It's got to make you feel good. I mean, I think about you going to be walking the halls with people with just experts at city government. Think about Lance Jones and Michael Clay and Josh Powell and R. Tiffany Stanley and Deborah Stanley and all these people that walk these halls, hundreds of years of experience. It's got to make you feel good.
Yes, sir. That's been very encouraging for me this week. Prior to coming, for people to come up in the community and say you're joining a good team, yep. Knowing that those years of experience are in place, and I will now have the opportunity to come and work alongside of them and hopefully bring something new to the table, some new ideas, but at the same time still demonstrating stewardship, making sure that the city and its constituents are always on the forefront of our decisions.
Yeah. I can tell you, someone who's at City Hall every week, just a great group of employees, over 100 employees with the City of Dublin, and you're going to be responsible for a whole array of things. I want to talk about that in a minute, but let's talk about the hiring process. Tell me about what made you apply for the job. Tell me about the interview process.
Well, I was currently employed with Oconee Fall Line Technical College, and I was very happy. I really wasn't looking, and then just some doors started opening up, and I just kind of started following through and saw the ad and applied and went through that process, not really knowing, how it would turn out, but each door kept opening and felt peace about it. So that was an opportunity for me to move forward, and I'm still excited about that decision that I made last month.
Yep. And I mentioned East Lawrence boy. You're a graduate of East Lawrence High School. You went to Georgia Southern University.
Yes, sir.
And tell us a little bit about your family.
Well, I am, again, a native of Dublin, Lawrence County. Grew up on the east side. I've lived here my whole life. East Lawrence alumni. I played football and baseball. Graduate of 2002. Stayed here and got my core out of the way at Middle Georgia College, was then Middle Georgia College, and then transferred to Georgia Southern and worked on my accounting degree, and then came back, worked in private sector for, I guess, a little over 5 years, and then been in state government for almost 6 years. So a lot of roots here. Dublin, Lawrence County has always been home, and I'll always consider it home.
Well, nothing can be too tough. I always say, Blake played high school football with my son, and I always say anybody that played under Coach Buddy Sara, you can make it far in life. There's nothing can be too tough if you make it through. What a great coach for East Lawrence. He was tough on his players, but he had winning seasons. He taught you how to win. He wasn't easy on you, and it was to me like a Marine camp. Coming through Coach Sara, but you came through, and football teaches you so much about, I don't know if it's the game of life, but about life in general, don't it?
Athletics in itself teaches you a lot. Coach Sara was one of a kind. and to this day, I still use him in a lot of my conversations. I compare him to what you just described. He was very tough on us, and sometimes you thought it was difficult to play for him, but he got the most out of his players, and his approach was that we're going to do this as a team, and I've been able to take that and in the workplace use that same concept, that same idea that teamwork is everything. I'm just a piece of this puzzle, wanting to do my part, and that was the thing with him, is that you never slacked. If you slacked, you were going to know about it, and anybody that knows him. So he's been very instrumental the years that I played for him, and I feel it's safe to say that everybody who played for him, one or two things happened. They kept playing, and he got the most out of them, or they parted ways. They moved on. But he was a awesome guy. So
and you mentioned one word that always stood out to me with Coach Sarra: teamwork. You played as a team. It wasn't about you individually. And football is one of those games that you have an assignment. No matter what else is going on the field, you have that assignment. Same thing in the workplace. You play as a team, you work as a team, and each person has that assignment.
Yes, and that was something that, he never made it. He always taught us to show some class, and that class was basically not going out and trying to do anything as an individual. You have teammates to consider. That's right. So his framework has still to this day played a very important role to me in the work environment. And so I use him. I've talked about him this week in the workplace. So he's just one of those that has made a difference in my life.
Yep, and many others. We're going to continue our conversation with Blake Daniels, the new city clerk and finance director here at the City of Dublin. Stay with us. We'll be back right after this.
I'm Marcus Clements with Clements & King Insurance. Darren and I have 75 years of combined experience serving this community. Our agency is dedicated totally to the sale of life and health insurance for Lawrence and surrounding counties. Call us for any question you have on life and health insurance.
Welcome back, everybody. Continuing our conversation with Blake Daniels. Blake, there's a lot of things goes with this job. When I say city clerk, finance director for the City of Dublin, one part of that job is you're in charge of election. Now that's going to be new to you, isn't it?
It will be. My background is accounting and finance, so that's my strong suit. So city clerk, election superintendent, that will be something that I'll have to get acclimated to. It will give me some diversity within the scope of my job, but nonetheless there will be a learning curve with that.
But Blake, with people, we were talking about teamwork, with people like Judge Harper, Susan Rooks, you got people with experience. The two of them together has got 90 years of experience. Judge Harper started when she was 17 in elections. That's somebody that's got the answer to just about every question they are. So you got to feel good knowing you got people like that to lean on.
Sure. As far as certification wise, I'll do my part and going through the training, but to know that I've got peers in the community to be able to reach out to, I'm very encouraged again that I'm not going on this on a whim per se. It's their resources, and that's something that I will rely heavily on this first year, first 2 years, first 5 years, however long.
You've only been on the job a few days. What do you see in there? What do you think the biggest challenges are? What do you think when you first look from that 7th floor look? What's going to be the biggest challenge?
Well, right now I understand the importance of fiscal responsibility, stewardship, and so for me, I want to make sure that I'm doing my part and managing and advising the decision makers of where we are financially. And it's not that they already know where we are, but to be able to continue to advise and hopefully bring some new things, new ideas to the table. I think that's going to be the biggest challenge. Thankfully, Dublin is growing. Yes. Every day you can tell that there's something new, some new opportunity that's coming. So I think that there will be a lot of opportunity, new revenue streams that we can look at So I think from that part, the fiscal responsibility, being good stewards, being transparent in what we do, being accountable to one another, to the citizens of Dublin is my utmost concern, is that we're representing their dollars in the best way that we can.
Absolutely. And and somebody that grew up here like you did or I did, our downtown, you got to admit, we have a beautiful downtown. It's come a long way since you was a young boy.
It has.
Because downtowns in general across the United States skipped a generation. When me and your dad were growing up and your aunts, and downtown is where you went. And then the malls come along, and then everybody left downtown. Well, now the malls are disappearing everywhere, and a lot of towns and cities like Dublin, everybody's headed back downtown. And you come through downtown Dublin about any night of the week, there's people everywhere walking throughout the city and going to Dino's or Company Supply or shopping, doing whatever, going to the theater. But and for the city of Dublin to be a part of that, and now you're going to be a part of that, that's got to be a good feeling.
It is. It's a huge opportunity, and I take that very seriously. I remember growing up, coming through, and if you timed it just right, you could pretty much come all through one pass of traffic lights, But now that's not the case. You're pretty much stopping at each one because there's traffic, there's people. So it's very, very encouraging.
What do you think the most fun? You've been you got an accounting background. You've been with Oconee Fall Line. What do you think the most fun part of this job is going to be?
Well, just basically taking this limited amount of resources, and it's a big puzzle, and taking it and trying to make the demands match the resources. So that to me, I enjoy that. It can get challenging, and sometimes it can be where creativity plays its part. But as long as we're compliant and we're doing what is good stewardship, then it'll work out.
Yeah, absolutely. The good thing about it, I believe, you already got a budget. The fiscal year has already begun. The City of Dublin's fiscal year starts July 1st. So you got that behind you. You didn't have to come in, and there are things you can do there, but you do have a budget in place. So that's a difficult time of the year when you're working on budgets and you got department heads and you got to hash out those numbers. So you got that part done. Now, I was in your office a little while ago. You're still getting set up. There's an empty desk out there. What's going on at that desk?
Well, right now we are going through a process trying to find a good applicant to come in and fill some big shoes there, city clerk assistant. So this is a very vital part of the city, and I will rely heavily on this person. So right now we're starting to look at some things and hopefully go through the applications and get somebody in here pretty quick.
Now, when I come in this morning, you got another fella, East Dublin, Dwayne Edge, in your office, which is a common face down at the City of Dublin. He handles all the maintenance and feels mighty good in here. It was not that cool. I was picking on him before we started, as the Eric I think's kicking on now, but Dwayne takes care of all that, and of course Michael Clay was in there. Michael has a vast amount of experience with the City of Dublin, and I'm sure he's already offered you a lot of advice, hasn't he?
He has. I had not known Michael prior to coming to work for the city. He's educated me a lot this week, sent me a lot of information, so I know that he is very instrumental in helping the city with the facilities areas, and I feel like will be a good resource for me along the way. So yes, I've seen a lot of him this week.
Yeah, and you can tell Blake and I both are smiling big when we talk about Michael, because he is a fun guy to be around, and he really is, laying all joking aside, he does have a vast amount of experience, and he knows city government, and he is a guy, I talk to people all over the state with municipalities. He is well respected, not only throughout the state, but throughout the country, with his knowledge of not only municipality, but water and sanitation. But he'll be giving you a lot of advice. There's no doubt about it. And I'd listen to Mike. He's one of the ones I'd actually listen to. We're going to come back and wrap it up in just a moment. Blake Daniels, our brand new first week on the job, city clerk and finance director with the city of Dublin. Stay with us. We'll be back right after this.
First Lawrence Bank invites you to experience banking at its best. Whether you have personal or business needs, we're a full-service bank big enough to handle all of your banking needs and small enough to provide you with that personal touch you've grown to expect from a community bank like First Lawrence Bank. Looking forward to your future? That's First Lawrence Bank in Dublin and Dexter, member FDIC.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to wrap up our conversation here with Blake Daniels. Blake, community, you growing up here, we talked about you playing football, baseball in high school. This community, and I grew up, we talked yesterday, I graduated 40 years ago. Your dad graduated 44 years ago. So we're telling our ages. But, you know, the fun part to me about what I do is when I was growing up at East Lawrence, growing up in church, this community always supported us. Always. I don't care if we were selling candy bars or fundraisers or whatever we were doing. This community always supported us. Now, we are a lot older. I'm a lot older than you, obviously, but now we're the ones to be able to be a part of the community and support the younger kids, whether it be football's about to start. The City of Dublin is a big sponsor of local football. The City of Dublin Natural Gas Department sponsors football, our Players of the Week, offensive and defensive Players of the Week. So the city's very involved in local sports. They support this community, and the City of Dublin supports our local athletes. And this being your first year on the job, we're going to be watching you. You'll be, matter of fact, right after this interview, I'm going to be taping Blake for some of our football spots. So he's got another job to do today when we get through with this one. But so you'll be involved in that. Tell me about how it makes you feel, because I know the community supported you when you was younger.
Sure. Think about the booster clubs. That's the first thing that comes to mind with athletics. And I looked at all the corporate sponsors, the businesses here in Dublin, and they have been an integral part in funding a lot of these programs. The leadership in the community has always stood out to me. Those who are maybe not as active as they used to be, and some that have gone on before us, and to know that they've passed that torch, and that I'll be able to be a part of this now. That's exciting to me, and I take that very seriously. Community here in Dublin has always, you know, at the end of the day, we come together and we are a team. And we may be represented by different alumni, but nonetheless, we are a team. We are a community.
Yeah, we are, and I do think of those who did so much before, especially with athletics. Mr. Fred Middlebrooks at Dublin, and Don Baker, and Charlie Warnock, and people like that at East Lawrence, and so many people who supported our athletes. And it goes back to what you said earlier, what Coach Sarah taught you and what Coach Holmes has taught his kids, and so many of the coaches in this area. Coach Bonds over in Johnson County, what a phenomenal man. Even in his death with cancer, what he taught those athletes. So listening to you talk about Coach Sarah, and I know there's so many athletes, you're watching us right now, and you're probably sitting there on the couch or the chair thinking, yeah, Coach Holmes pushed me further than I ever thought I could be pushed, or Coach Bonds, or whoever that coach was. So those days are important. So community is important, and I'm just so glad that you're a part of this community, Blake, and growing up here, and then coming back home, going off to Georgia Southern. You could have went off anywhere. You know, you could have went anywhere you wanted to go, but you came back home, and that means a lot. And we need those opportunities where kids graduating this year and next year can have the opportunities to come back. Let's have the industry and the businesses to come back just like you have and give back. And back to the question I asked you about the fun part of your job. It's got to be fun to come back and give back to your community.
Sure, you've got to love what you do, and to me, to be able to use that skill set, you know, that I opened up with in the beginning, to be able to come and contribute and be a part of that, there's another generation now that is coming through, and we definitely want to provide them and position them for a lot of what we now may consider a pastime. We want to kind of go back and recreate in our own way some consistency, be good mentors with the community, within the community, for these individuals.
Blake, thank you so much for
Yes,
talking
sir.
to me today.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for being a part of this community. Blake Daniels, our city clerk and finance director with the city of Dublin. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hot tubs provide three main types of benefits, often described as escape, connection, and health. It's a place to get away from the day for 20 minutes and regroup. A personal place to escape and recenter yourself. It's a place to spend time and interact with family or friends. That place for connection and enjoyment with others. And it's a place to improve your physical health and wellness with hydrotherapy massage and other therapy concepts found in modern hot tubs. But when you focus on therapy, all hot tubs are not alike. Yes, they all use hot water and they all have pumps and hoses and jets to move all that water around, but the best therapy benefits in a hot tub come from a sophisticated hydrotherapy system design that can give you the control and performance to direct massage exactly where you want it, exactly how you want it. The Marquee Therapy System is this type of hydrotherapy design, and when you know how it works, you will value it over any other hot tub system out there. In its simplest concept, hot tub hydrotherapy is delivered by a pump that moves water through hoses to channel the flow through a network of jets, and then propels the water out from the opening in the jets to massage the body. In unsophisticated systems, the pump uses high force. The hoses tighten or limit the space for the water to move, and the jet opening restricts the opening even more, so that the result is a piercing stream coming out with high pressure against the skin. The core Marquee therapy system found in E-Series hot tubs is a more intelligent design. Depending upon the model, the E-Series hot tubs are powered by 1 or 2 pumps and either 120 volt or 240 volt electrical service. The 2-pump models feature 2 dual-speed pumps that can move up to 160 gallons per minute or 320 total gallons per minute to power the water therapy action. Single-pump units can use a 160 or 130 gallons per minute pump, again depending upon the electrical service. Models with 2 zones have control valves to divert flow from zone to zone as needed. Finally, networks of anywhere from 22 to 60 jets of differing diameters are targeted to channel the optimal flow to each area of the body. Higher masses of water moving to larger muscle group areas, lesser volumes to smaller muscle groups. This system allows you to sit in front of the jets comfortably for a longer period of massage time, a real benefit that is not found with most competitor products. And be sure you ask for it when you're shopping for superior therapy. The Marquee Therapy System and our industry-exclusive high-output therapy network of hot zones create the ultimate hydrotherapy experience available anywhere. The ultimate hot tub experience you will feel and truly appreciate.